What is my life and like how did we get here? I was originally born in Serbia, and there was a war called the Yugoslavian War, and my dad was actually in that war. So back home was really, really messy. And they always talk about the American dream and all that. People don't have opportunities like this in other countries. We saw what our parents had to go through. I was 3 years old, my brother was 9 years old, and we're in this 1-bedroom apartment, like 400 or 500 square feet, and we were like sleeping in the same bed as them. Like we had nothing. I remember like we would buy corn from the dollar store and eat corn on the floor. Growing up that way, I always had it in me to always want more.
Hi, everybody. How are we doing today? Hope everybody had a great holiday, got some rest, got to be with their families. We're able to show some thanks, and hopefully you took care of some people over the holiday weekend. I know there's a lot of families out there that are looking for our help, so hopefully we took care of that. Today we got a very exciting guest. Oh, there she is. So I'm gonna leave this kind of. I'm just going to kind of keep it mysterious for a second. I know everyone knows who it is, but we've got Nina here, and Nina's going to talk about getting us up and running using social media, networking, and how to just build a big, big business. So, hi, Nina.
Hi, Uncle Jimmy. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you. Where are you at today?
Where am I at? I'm in Arizona.
Is this your house?
This is the house, yeah.
I love it. So you're outside in the sun. That's amazing.
Yep. Thank you guys for having me. I'm super pumped to be on today.
That's awesome. So, and before we get started with Nina, Drew, do me a favor, Factory. What's up and coming? Okay, so we have so Monday was huge because we had a builder's call, and if you weren't on it, you missed out on a lot. And our integrity partners partnered together to put together a nice link. So basically, if you go to my webpage in Gateway, there's a free recruiting link with your name on it. Nina, what'd you think of that?
Oh, I was literally just looking at it, testing it out, making sure that it worked, and then I'm going to add it to all my social media platforms. I think it's one of the most convenient things and one of the best things that we now have for recruiting.
So I tagged it, and I've already got a bunch of responses back from people and with their information, and I was like, wow, and it was free, right? And it was crazy how fast, I don't know how many agents there are in FFL, I'm sure thousands upon thousands. And they were able to really rock that out on Monday. I mean, at first my link wasn't working. Everyone was like, my link's not working. My link's not. And then bang, everything came through, and it's just amazing. And to see Sean Mike give his, who we are, what we do, the power of that, I think it's a selling point. What do you think?
Yep. I agree. And the video is just so short and sweet. And I think like nowadays, and I'll talk about this later, but the average person's attention span just because of social media is like 2 to 4 seconds. So instead of having, potential recruits having to watch a 15-20 minute long video explaining FFL, it's done in 5 minutes. So I think it's amazing.
So Nina was out here with her husband, Hayden. And I think they just got married not too long ago, so congratulations to you. I got to meet her for the first time, and she came to our lock-in, and her and Hayden kind of showed us kind of how they put their people in the hot seat, get their team ready, right? And I kind of got to watch her do like a live sell online, and she was on the phone, and just watching like some of the things she says and how she made the client super comfortable and how she got them over the finish line. And she was actually in our bat cave, we call it. And it was really interesting watching someone like Nina do what she does, because I think a lot of people forget like how these integrity partners are really good. Like, you know what I mean? Because now you're a partner, and they're like, oh, they don't sell anymore. They don't do this. Well, Nina came in, Stephen E came in, Hayden came in, Gary was here. They're all Hall of Famers. Some of them are partners, and they all made sales in front of us. And to me, that was the most powerful thing. What do you think, Nina?
I mean, I think it's so amazing that the integrity partners are, there's a lot of us. And I think one of the things is like we all almost kind of thought, like we all love selling. It's like the beauty of this business. And like I
Hmm.
don't know about you guys, but in my opinion, there's no better feeling or no better high than helping a family or writing someone $100 a month eagle and getting paid within 24 to 48 hours. So I think like when we all partnered, we thought like, dang, we don't get to do this anymore. Like all we have to do is recruit, which honestly, recruiting is fun. But the reason we all got started in this business was to make money from personal sales. So to me, it's so motivating. Like we're in this integrity partner group chat, and the other day, everyone, even Andrew, popped off a sale. I was like, dude, what is this guy doing? Right. So it's just exciting to see. And I think like we all have built massive businesses by selling, by leading from the front, by showing and teaching people exactly how it's done. If I've been out of the game for so long, let's say I haven't sold in a year, how am I supposed to teach my newest agent how to sell? I'm not like fresh with the rebuttals. I'm not fresh with like and the thing is FFL is always changing. Obviously sales like the objections, the same people are going to say the same things. I want to think about it costs too much. Let me talk to my husband, let me talk to my wife. But when you're out of it for a little bit, it's very easy to kind of lose your touch. So just getting back in it is just so exciting, and I just freaking love helping families. So
I know it to me, it fired me up to see that Andrew was out there with his laptop dialing. You were in the same table. Hayden was at another table. Stephen, you sold one at 5 o'clock at night. I mean, if if you're not getting to these lock-ins where the best of the best are, I call you guys like gunfighters, right? And at first, they kind of took your guns away. Integrity. They bought you because you were the best shot in the West, and then they kind of took your guns away, and now they're giving you back your guns with better ammunition you never had because some of you had to write applications. Now everything's on your computer and it's just a lot easier and quicker. And then with the link from Ethos, I had an agent. He didn't do anything. He sent his link out, and a guy went on there and bought a huge policy. And I was like, bro, good job. And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't even, what? And I was like, look at your Ethos link. And he's like, oh my gosh. And it was just amazing because now the technology is really, I don't think it's ever going to take the agents away, but it's going to make it a lot easier for us. And maybe we won't have to talk to anybody in the future.
yeah, which is wild. I think it's just so crazy that you can just send that link out and someone can do their own application. Like it's the most bizarre thing ever.
And those are going to stick because
Yeah.
they
But
did it.
that's like another thing though is, for example, like Ethos product came out. Aflac, like we always have so many new products. And as an agency owner and a leader, you always have to know how to illustrate an app, how to, because if you have a brand new agent coming on board, and let's say we got the Ethos product, but I didn't know how to use it, how am I going to tell them, hey, go here, click this, click that, if they're stuck in an app? So as a leader, I think it's so important to adapt to the times, to get uncomfortable, to learn new things, because in the long run, that's going to help your agents and agency grow.
Yeah, I love that all the carriers are going to the text because the pop-up blocker. And then you had to walk someone, 70, 80-year-old through a pop-up blocker on their email. What kind of phone do you have? I have a flip phone. And you're like, oh my gosh, how do I do this to help this family, right? To help this person. So yeah, the technology is good. Well, let's dive into who you are. So tell us about yourself. What did you do before selling insurance, before you became an integrity partner? So tell us about you, Nina.
Yeah, it's actually so crazy because sometimes I have to pinch myself. I'm like, what is my life? And like, how did we get here? But so I live in Arizona. I was originally born in Serbia, and my parent there was a war called the Yugoslavian War, and my dad was actually in that war. So back home was really, really messy. And I had some family here, and thank God for them because they helped my family move to the US and straight to Arizona. And they always talk about the American dream and all that. And
I was
like I
just
always thought
thinking
that,
that. I was
yeah,
just thinking that.
exactly. But I always tell people like, like people don't have opportunities like this in other countries. And like when we came here, I saw like I have an older brother, and like we saw what our parents had to go through. We were, I was 3 years old, my brother was 9 years old, and we're in this 1 bedroom apartment, like 400 or 500 square feet, and we were like sleeping in the same bed as them. Like we had nothing. We didn't even have like a dining room table. I remember like we would buy corn from the dollar store and eat corn on the floor. Like, I don't know why I so vividly remember this because we didn't have a table. Like, it was the most wild thing. And like growing up that way, I saw how hard my parents were working. Like, my dad worked graveyard shifts so that my mom could watch us in the middle of the night and vice versa. Like, they didn't have money to afford a nanny, so they had to do whatever they could to make it work. And growing up that way, I always had it in me to always want more. Like no matter what situation I'm in, I've never felt like I've made it, right? So I've always just had that like work ethic, and I've always wanted to do more, not just for myself, but for my family specifically. So actually, my parents put the pressure on me to, because like moving to another country, they're like, oh, we're moving to the U.S. Like you have to go to school, you have to have this massive education, like you have to go be a doctor, because that was success to them, right? They didn't know like what was out there. And so I went to Arizona State University. I got my degree in dietetics, and I actually started my own personal training business, was doing decent. And I had a bunch of friends start in the life insurance industry, and I would see them on social media, like the things that they would post, the things that they would talk about, making sales, so on and so forth. So I was sitting there, and my friend had started telling me about how I should get my insurance license, just to do on the side of personal training. And I was like, you know what? Like thinking about personal training and this industry, it's like people always want like the next best thing. So I was just picturing myself 40, 50, 60 years old, and I'm like, maybe people want to train with me now, but are they going to want to when I'm older? So I'm like, I need something more sustainable. So essentially, I got my license. It actually took me 4 tries to pass. I didn't really commit to studying. I was like one of those, like my first time I went in, I took my test without even studying, and I got like a 38%, which is so stupid of me. And finally, my fourth and final try, I passed the exam. And I actually started with a captive company. So I was with another company for almost 4 years. And, I'm really glad that I started there because it made this opportunity so much freaking sweeter. And like sometimes, like I look at some of the new agents that come on board with us that will complain about certain things. And I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
dude, like we have it made here compared to like other companies out there. So,
They have no idea.
yes. So when I started, I was at a 38% comp. So I was writing personal sales. I was one of the top producers in the company. I was qualifying for all these trips, bonuses, so on and so forth. And I get my 1099 at the end of the year, and I made 36 freaking grand. And I'm like, dude, how, like, I can't survive off of this.
Might as well be
So
a teacher, right? I mean,
exactly, like seriously. And I mean, we're 1099. So at the end of the day, it's like I also didn't really save for taxes for any of that. So I was like, shit, what do I do? So actually, Hayden has known Grady Polson for a very, very long time. And him and Grady went to dinner one night, and Hayden comes home and he's like, dude, we're switching to this company called FFL. Like, let's do it. Let's go. So Grady decides to get Andrew Taylor on the phone with us. And Hayden puts Andrew on speaker. And we're used to like, in our last company, it was no one's making a lot of money, but everyone's rah rah. Like everyone's like super hyped, like you're going to be rich, you're going to buy a yacht, like that energy. And some people like that, some people don't. So
Andrew
I
calls that a success zombie culture.
exactly.
Yeah, I
So
love
when
it.
we're used to that, and then now Andrew Taylor's on speaker in our living room, and Andrew's like, super dry, right? And we're like, he talked us out of the business. Like we were like, dude, we're not doing FFL. Like hell no. So we actually decided to wait another year before coming to FFL, which is crazy. So then fast forward a year, I was like, dude, I have nothing to lose. I'm in the same position that I've been in for the last 3 years with this company. Like let's give FFL a true shot. So August 2019, I wrote my first policy, and here we are.
Never looked back. Look at you.
Never.
Okay, so you were at this in another company with Hayden.
Yes, he was
Okay,
my upline.
he was your upline. Okay, and then you came over to Family First Life first, or did you come over as a? Were you the one that tested the waters?
Yeah. So basically,
And he
Hayden
knew
was
Grady.
so he knew Grady and he was like,
Wait, what?
after a year, he was like, dude, I'm not doing insurance anymore. I'm over this. Hayden went through like this extensive interview process to get a medical device job. And it was like, multi six figure paying salary. And he was like, we just need something stable. And I was like, I'll go give FFL a shot. If worse comes to worse, like I'll go to nursing school, like whatever. So I came over and he got that job. And when I started FFL, like probably like most of you guys on here, because this is base shop call, right?
Yes.
I like dipped my toe in. I was not all in at all. I was like one of those agents where I'd write a policy or two, take the next week off, and then I would still complain about being broke. Like imagine that, Uncle Jimmy. I would be like I'm broke, complaining, but I'm not freaking working. Like what? So I remember this so vividly, but Grady called me and he goes, Nina, there's an FFL conference that's actually in Vegas in November. This was like October. He said, you have to make it out there. And I'm like, dude, well, I don't have money for a flight. He's like, book Frontier. Like, I don't care. You have to get there. And if you write X amount, I will pay for your hotel. So we figured out a way to get me there to this conference, and it was in November. And I sat next to Grady, so like I had a lot of friends there, I guess you could say, but I didn't want to sit next to them. I wanted to sit next to someone that I knew was going to be focused the whole time. Where if I sat next to them, I wasn't going to be messing around. It was just pure focus. And this was the event that like really just like changed the freaking game for me. I was sitting there. There's all these people on stage. I remember Josh and Alondra on stage, Stephen Yee, Trey Honeycutt, like Grady was up there. And all these people, like everyone was so different, different shapes, different sizes, different backgrounds, different careers, but they all had one thing in common, that they bought leads and they freaking dialed the phones and that they worked their asses off. They were no one was like better than the next person. They were all just freaking workers. And I remember Josh and Alondra went up there and I sent a picture to Hayden of them. And I was like, dude, they just did 40K this month. Like, this is going to be us. We're going to do this. And Hayden's like, pish posh, whatever. Like, you've been super inconsistent. I don't hear it. So got off that trip. And that's when I found out what Hall of Fame was. I was like, 400 grand a year. Like, that seems like a lot, but I want to do that. Like, I'm absolutely going to hit Hall of Fame. So that year I was like, Hayden, I'm going all in on this with personal production. If I do really well, will you come over to FFL? And he was like, yeah, you just have to show me the numbers. So I went out there and got to work like 30K months. I was consistent as heck, like dialing the phones on a really good structured schedule, buying enough leads. And literally it was history. He joined a year later. And
So what was your schedule? So everyone kind of knows, because I think everyone wants to be rich. They want to be successful, but they just don't. They hear what it takes, but they don't know what it takes. You know what I mean? And so tell us what your schedule was.
yeah. So I think first and foremost, like I didn't come off that conference and say like, oh, I'm going all in. Like I have 2 grand to invest into leads. Like, no, it took a lot of work to get there because I didn't have that much money to invest into leads, but I knew I had to sacrifice a little bit of time and money on other things in order to get to where I wanted to be. So like one of the things that everyone on stage said was, hey, Nina, you have to spend $1,000 minimum a week in leads, 2,000 if you want to be a Hall of Fame producer. So I'm like, okay, well, last week I spent 400. So how about this week I spend 600, and then whatever I make off that, I'll spend 800. And then I kind of just kept adding 200 until I got to around 1,500 to 2,000. And then that's what it was. But one of the most important things is you have to be willing to show up for yourself every day. And you have to respect yourself enough to show up for yourself every day. For example, if I'm like this morning, I went to a workout class with a friend and we were like, hey, let's go. Let's say it's at 5 a.m. If I know my friend's going, I'm going to absolutely show up, because if I don't show up, then she's going to think I'm a bad friend. She's going to think I'm lazy, and she's going to think I don't have respect for myself, right? But let's say that friend, take the friend out of the equation. Let's say it's just you want to go to that workout class. Your alarm's going off at 5 a.m. to wake up to go to that workout class. Are you actually going to show up for yourself and wake up for yourself? Or are you going to hit snooze because your friend's not going? So like, that's the thing, is you have to be willing to show up for yourself every single day. And you have to make sacrifices. Like that's the thing with this business. Like, I knew if I wanted to be a Hall of Fame producer, I was probably going to be working weekends. Like my friends, especially, I was 25 when I hit Hall of Fame. My friends, for the most part, are partying. They're going out Thursday through Sunday, Sunday fun day. Like it doesn't stop. Like it's crazy. So I knew I had to kind of take a step back from that. And guess what? I did lose a lot of friends, but those friends are still out doing the same thing while I'm in a completely different position now, right? So that's the first thing is cut some people off. I actually had to tell my family too. I'm like, dude, I know, like I'm a mama's girl, I'm a daddy's girl. Like I used to have to see them like every single freaking day, where I got to the point where I'm like, hey, if you guys want me to like take care of you, I have to do this for a little while. Like I have to not hang out with you guys every day. Like I have to focus. So that was it. And I always bought leads twice a week, no matter what, whether had a huge week or didn't have the best week. I always like clockwork, bought leads twice a week.
And what days are those?
So typically Saturday or Sunday to have them for Monday morning, and then Wednesday to have them for Thursday morning. And then I broke up my week kind of into like two sections. So it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, dial like that same lead pack. And then that new lead pack, I dial Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then it's always okay to go back to your old leads.
Sure.
But I was in person at the time. So I know things are a little bit different, which I can talk about too. That was very hard to adapt to going from all in person, but I dialed every single Monday for Tuesday, Wednesday, and dialed every single Thursday for Friday, Saturday. So
when did you start dialing? What time?
Oh, literally never got on the phone or after 7:50 a.m. Like 7:50 was my first call. And like I know that some people will stop dialing like they won't hit their appointment count and stop dialing. Like I literally, if I didn't book 15 appointments over 2 days, I don't care if it took me till 9 p.m. Like I was making those calls. And if I didn't book those 15 appointments for whatever reason, the next day I'm on the phones even earlier dialing and making up for those. So it was just always on the phones, and you don't stop until your job is done. And now with telesales, like I know we're focused on one call closes. Like, dude, our team, we don't stop until we get a sale. So like if it's 5 p.m. and I'm like, oh, dang, I didn't make any sales today. Like, I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm dialing till 9 because legally we can dial till 9. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, okay. So your first company, you made $36,000. What did you make after that conference? What did you make your first year after you went to the conference, got fired up and realized, wow, if these people can do this, why can't I? So what did you make your first year?
So my 1099, after my first full year with FFL was 406,000. And I probably spent 80 to 100 grand that year in leads. 80 to 120, let's just say, which is great because if I just had made 406 and didn't have those write-offs, I would have been screwed.
So Nina, think about this. You've made, I'm going to say over $200,000 your first real year that you decided I'm going to do this, right? How long do you think that would take your mom and dad to make in Yugoslavia? How many years?
Their entire lifetime.
Right. Great country we're in, right? What a great country we're in, right? What a great company we're in, right? And that's what I want people to take away from today. Not only are you in the best country in the world, but you're in the best company if you're going to sell insurance in the United States of America. I'm not going to say the world because I don't know how that works, but I'm going to say that it can take someone that comes from another country that doesn't have anything and make and what does your downline do now?
We're doing right around 7 million a month.
It's amazing. So Nina, okay, so what I really wanted to focus on today was, so you had a following for being a trainer, correct?
Yeah, somewhat.
How many do you think you had? 1,000, 10,000, on social media?
I would say about 10,000.
Okay, so if I somebody and I have a following online for a cleaning business, a training business, whatever, I'm goofy. Everyone I do these little stupid things and people follow me. How do I translate those people that follow me into my new career?
Absolutely. So first things first, and I always want to tell people this. So there's a lot of new people on here. It took me 9 months to hire my first agent. Not because of I didn't know people, I came from another insurance company. I knew a ton of licensed people, right? Mm-hmm. But it was simply because I was one of those people that came in and said, hey, I want to learn the system. I want to be successful before I recruit other people. And I've realized, and this is what was like a really big eye opener for me, is there was someone from like kindergarten, no joke, that I went to school with in kindergarten, and they started FFL. And I'm like, what do you like? You work here? And they're like, yeah, I didn't even know you worked here. And I basically said, why don't you work with me? They said, I didn't know that you worked here. I'm like, damn, that is crazy. And I'm a top producer here. So I'm writing no less than 35K a month, like consistently. And I'm just not sharing. Like, he doesn't know I work here because I'm not sharing it enough.
You're a secret agent.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think a lot of people come in with that mindset, and like the hard truth is you don't know, like maybe this might not be the opportunity for you, and it might not change your life, but it could change someone else's. Like, I always give the Caitlin Blackburn example. Like, dude, she freaking was making $2,800 a month in medical billing, living in the state of California, struggling, single mom, was about to lose custody of her daughter. She started FFL in April by seeing a social media post. From April to December, she issued over 700 freaking thousand. And now she's making six figures a month. I'm like, bro, like this is just stupid, right? But like,
No, it's beautiful.
if it wasn't, yeah,
It's a
if it
beautiful
wasn't,
thing. It's not stupid. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
yes,
It's
stupid in a good
amazing.
way, yeah. But for her to like for her life to change that way by seeing a social media post is insane. So again, it could change. Like, this business is not for everyone, of course not, because if it was, then we'd all be freaking multi-billionaires, but we're not. So like, you can change someone's life even if it's not yours in this business. So 9 months to hire my first agent, and then essentially I realized like social media is such a great tool. A, because it's free, but B, because everyone is freaking on social media, like all the time, 24/7. The average person's screen time is like 10 hours a day. So it's either you're using those 10 hours that you're on social media a day to grow whatever business you're in, or you're just using it to freaking stalk other people's lives, which is actually really freaking weird and creepy, right? If we really think about it.
Well,
So I
I'm sure
decided
there's a lot of those on your social media.
100%.
Yeah.
I think like there's really two ways to recruit on social media. One is going to be attraction marketing. So attraction marketing is sharing what you do on a daily basis in your FFL career or in any career that you're in, and using that as a tool to attract people into what you're doing. So if I'm looking to do attraction marketing, it's me posting my day to day. So, and it doesn't, like, I think people think that it has to be all FFL, like 24/7 you're posting about FFL. People love that, of course, but people also want to see that you have a life, right? So like, I'm posting when I wake up every day, I post a quote. So I'll post like something inspiring, right? And I always get people to respond to it. They're like, wow, I love this. Oh, this super relates to me. Oh, that's how you feel this morning, like things like that. My next thing is me going to the gym. And then the next thing is right into my day. So it's selling. So if you guys are selling, which you all should be, posting your sales all the time. Posting a little bit about what you do, whether it's a video or going on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, just sharing what your career looks like. Hey, I'm protecting families today. Hey, I'm helping people with life insurance that requested it. So attraction marketing is posting that stuff and then people reaching out to you. So friends, families, your followers. And like, for those of you, I mean, I'm sure everyone has social media on here, but if you don't, it's never too late to get started on social media. I always tell people we got to our first 150K a month as an agency through LinkedIn solely. And I didn't even have a LinkedIn account before starting FFL, but I built it up by posting, by following people, by adding people. So posting is really important, sharing good quality content. Now, Grady told me this early on. He said, Nina, I'm glad that you're posting and you're attracting, because that's what started happening is people started reaching out to my posts. Hey, Nina, I'm interested in what you're doing. Hey, I see you're killing it. I'm interested. Hey, what is it that you're doing? Hey, I just lost my job. I'm interested. Grady said, that's great, but you have X amount of followers. And once you keep continuing to post, eventually people are going to get sick of seeing your stuff and you're already going to be tapped out of that market. So what's your next move? And I'm like, no, Grady, this is going to work forever. People are always going to message me every day. And I had to learn the hard way that that wasn't the way.
Right.
So, the second way to hire people is outreach marketing. So, you want to do both. So, post consistently to attract people, but also outreach marketing is really, really important. What is outreach marketing? It's actually reaching out to people, right? Now, on Instagram and on any social media platform, it's really easy to freaking find people nowadays. Like we're literally like walking FBI agents with our phones, right? We could like find absolutely anything out about anyone in virtually like 3 seconds. So it's if you want to hire licensed people, you go to Instagram and hashtag life insurance agent. There's like 300,000 posts just under that one hashtag. If you want to find licensed agents on LinkedIn, you type in licensed life insurance agent, a bunch of licensed life insurance agents are going to pop up. If you want to get even more like niche, so you would look up different insurance company names. That's on the license side alone, you guys. Like the opportunities are freaking endless. Now on LinkedIn, you can start looking at pest control companies, mortgage loan officers, and that's 100% an industry I would look for people in because what are rates right now?
and and tax people, right? Because they've got a big book of business and probably have people that have money in their bank don't know what to do with it. You get them to
Exactly.
get licensed under you. You could roll annuities with them, do a split. Everyone wins. Everyone eats at the table, right?
Exactly. So it's like, and I always tell people like, yeah, great. We can all find licensed people, but unlicensed people are the freaking best because A, they have no baggage from their previous company. They have nothing to compare it to. It's like teaching a kid how to ride a bike, right?
Hmm.
So there's just solar people too. Someone just said like there's so many industries out there like knife sales, meat sales, like people still go door to door and stand in front of malls selling knives, which is crazy. I'm like, dude, you know how much more money you'd make if you sold a life insurance policy? So reaching out to those people, and it's on LinkedIn. It's as easy as adding them and then sending them a message. Instagram, same thing, adding them, sending them a message, following them, building a connection with them. If you follow them and they follow you back, you are a outreach marketing to try to recruit them. And if they say no, or if they don't say anything at all or don't respond, they're still following you. So they're seeing all the things that you post on a daily basis. So you're using attraction marketing now to get them interested in what you're doing. So those are really the two ways. But I think like it's the same thing with dialing the phones or calling leads. It's like you have to be consistent with it. Like if I message 20 people today, but don't message anyone for the next 4 months, like I'm not building my freaking business. Like it's this if you're really genuinely looking to build your business using social media, it's something that you have to do and put time into every single day.
So what would that look like then? So if you get up and you're dialing by 7:50 in the morning, when do you do your break to do a little bit of recruiting? And then when you get back on the phones to do help families, and do you do another little break and do a little more recruiting in the afternoon? Do you get back on the how's that look?
Yeah. So like I always Easton Patton said this way, way early on, and he said like you have to use your money making time wisely. That he calls them money making activities. So it's like Andrew used to say, like between appointments, he would go make himself a sandwich at home, but he wouldn't take that time to dial or recruit. So it's like you have to structure your schedule so well. So if I'm dialing, so like majority of people are doing telesales now. Say you start on the phones at 7:38, you're dialing from 7:38 to let's say 11:30 or noon, let's say you take an hour long lunch and then take an hour to recruit. I've like timed myself before to see how long it takes me to send out messages and add people. I can send 50 messages in literally less than 30 minutes because it's a lot of it's copy and paste and it's just finding people and social media makes it so easy nowadays. So that takes about 30 minutes. So let's say you take an hour. So you're sending out 100 messages on whatever platform you decide to use. And then from there, you're back on the phone. So let's say it's 2 now. Let's say you dial till 5. Okay, take another break. Now you're looking at your responses of the messages that you sent and you're responding to those people, scheduling, let's say, calls for the next day. And then you're back on the phones until either A, you've made probably 1,000 dials or at least made a sale for the day. So I think it just comes down to really just structuring your day.
So when you bring on a new agent, what do you what's your boot camp like? So I'm your new agent, Nina. I just passed my test. I got my NPN. What do I do next?
Yeah.
What
So,
walk me through it.
one of the things that we used to do is we used to just recruit to recruit. And like we would be like, oh, let's hire hundreds of people and whoever sticks, great. Now we're super, super intentional with who we hire. And we really like cherry pick people based on if they'd be a good fit with our team. Cause like we're super like, hey, we want you, we tell people upfront how hard it's gonna be. Hey, you're gonna have to dial the phones X amount of hours. Hey, there's chargebacks involved. Hey, people are going to tell you to F off probably every day. Are you mentally like capable of handling that? So we really like dig deep
Yeah.
into those questions before hiring. So like mentally, our people are kind of already prepped before they even get started. But once someone, gets their license, the first step is they're filling out contracting. We require for them to fill out contracting the day that they get their link. Like there's no waiting. Like, hey, our company spends money in order to send this out to you. So we want to make sure that you take care of it and get it done right away. Success loves speed. We love people who are like quick through the process. So they fill out contracting while they're waiting on their carrier appointments to come in. They're doing our boot camp training. It's ours is completely public. It's fflsalestraining.com if you guys ever want to learn more. But basically they go through our boot camp. Boot camp should take them no longer than a day to go through. Once they complete that, tells them, hey, you have to bookmark this, do that, and you have to have $500 to $1,000 in order to invest into leads before you get on the phone with Nina or Hayden.
So no free leads from Nina and Hayden.
No.
Good.
No. So people have to have some skin in the game too. Like that's the thing. It's like no one helped me with leads. Like just being real. And like I appreciated my leads so much more because I was the one buying them.
It's funny because I had a recruit and he says, "Oh, how do you guys get leads?" And I said, "Well, we buy them." And he's like, "Well, I'm just not interested." And I'm like, "Okay." I said, "So we're not a charity; we're a business, first of all." Because I had to hit him back, and I was like, "We're not welfare because people on welfare don't work. So we want people to work. So if you're going to work, if you spent money, you're going to make that money back. You're going to try your hardest to get your money back, right?"
Yep, 100%. No doubt. And that's the thing is like when I used to recruit, I used to be afraid to tell people like they have to pay for leads, but like, why would I want people that are scared to pay for leads in my business anyways? And at one point or another, we were all afraid to buy leads and invest, but like we are 1099 and we own our own business. Like that's the reality of it. So they have their initial lead investment and then we get on a Zoom call. We schedule a lead strategy and onboarding call. And it's typically about an hour long where we're going through everything, A through Z. Hey, here's how you're going to run what. Do you have everything saved, bookmarked? Let's go ahead and buy leads. We'll pull up the CRM and they're buying leads right then and there. Like I want to see them buy leads because if I get off the phone with them and, their friend Karen texts them that they are going on a trip next week, they might take that $500 to $1,000 and spend it on their trip next week, right? Instead of investing it into leads. So we try to get them to get leads right then and there while we're on the call, and then we'll do a role play. So objection training is the most important part of this business, like genuinely, because if you have the rebuttals in the back of your head, and we face objections every single day in this, if you have those like one-liners, little things that you say in the back of your head, then when Mary hits you with, I want to think about it, you know exactly what to say, right? So we really dive into objection training. And then from there, we really also want to make sure people keep track of their stats, especially within their first 30 days of this business. So it's like, how much did you spend in leads and how many leads did you get? How many dials did you make on those leads? How many people did you reach? How many people did you actually present to? And how many sales did you make? And then we track that over time to help agents get better. And then it makes it so much easier when coaching them if they're like, hey, I booked this many appointments, but this many people no-showed. Well, we probably need to work on you cementing your appointment. Or, I got into so many presentations, but I've had this many people tell me they want to think about it. Okay, so we probably should work on that objection. So tracking things, especially early on, like your first 90 days is super, super important.
That's awesome. So again, I'm a brand new agent. and I'm afraid to recruit because I'm afraid of chargebacks coming my way that are not my fault. What is your rebuttal for that, Nina? Because I mean,
It's like the
you want people to recruit right away, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no doubt. I always tell the story about like when Hayden and I had our first thing of roll up debt, for example. Like someone got
How
started with
what was it?
us.
How big was it?
I'll get there in a sec.
Okay, okay,
Right now it might scare some people off, but when we like compared it, we're like, dude, it's nothing. So
okay.
it was the last month of the year, so it was December. And we knew how much we made that year. So we're like, dang, this was our first big, it was like we made 900 grand collectively that year. So we're like, dang, we're absolutely killing it, right? And Hayden gets a notification that 25,000 was going to roll up. And he was freaking out. He's like, dude, what the hell? Like, why am I responsible for someone else's debt? Like, just losing it, right? And then I was like, Hayden, we just made over 900 grand this year. First off, it's a write off. That's like one of the best things. And we need a lot of those this year.
Yeah.
And second of all, like when you compare it to what you made, like you still made, let's say 885 grand or 875, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you really that upset about it? And he's like, well, I'm like, you're not, it's not that bad. Like it's not that serious. We make a lot of money here. And with big money comes some risks, and that's okay. And it's like there are certain ways to avoid and it's supposed to happen to everyone once. And I say that, and like I'm not trying to scare anyone off, but if it happens to you once, then you know what to look out for the next time. So it's like now we know if this guy tells us he's writing a freaking stripper a policy, it's probably not going to stay on the books, right? So that was like what it was. He's like she's in entertainment. She's in entertainment. That was all of his clients, and they all ended up falling off the books. So and he didn't want to pay him back. So that's the thing. It's like it's not that serious. And when you do what we do at a high level, and when you're recruiting at a high level, and when you're putting in work every single freaking day, like it's not that serious.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you just have to get used to it. So it sounds like you're the voice of reason in your relationship with Hayden, because when I got around you guys, he seemed like the more conservative one, and you seem like the more risk taking one in a sense, maybe.
So
So
it's really good because we balance each other out. Like I
exactly.
think people always ask us, like, what are your guys' strengths and weaknesses? How do you guys do business together? Do you guys drive each other crazy? And yeah, we absolutely do. And I would like if it wasn't for me being such a risk taker and not being afraid to invest in certain things, I don't think that we'd be here now. But also, if it wasn't for Hayden saying no to certain things that I'm glad we said no to, I think we could have been in a worse position. You know what I mean? If we
Sure.
had said so we really balance each other out. And sometimes, like Andrew will tell you, I've freaking yelled at Andrew on the phone and hung up on him. And then he's calling Hayden 5 minutes later,
Jesus.
like, dude, is she okay? Like, how do I figure this out? And Hayden's like, hey, just give her 10 minutes, right? So,
And
definitely
one
there's
thing
that.
about Andrew doesn't really take anything personal. If
Yep.
people attack him, they say things online. If they attack him to us, he never burns bridges. He knows it's just in the moment.
Yep.
They don't really think that way about him. They're stressed, they're trying their best. So he does have that. The Taylors have that thing. So I worked for his grandfather and his father, and it was interesting to see, and it's interesting to see him running a big business, right? And there's a lot of stress and stuff, but you would never know it if you looked at the kid. I mean, he just even kill, and I know there's a lot that goes on behind the closed doors that no one really sees, but it's one of those things where I know he doesn't know it's personal. It's just business, right? You don't
Yep.
hate him. You just were mad at the situation. And I'm sure there's a lot of people have came out that way. But the one thing I liked was I like to put people on the hot seat, and I know you like to put people on the hot
Oh,
seat because you called out Luis, and he was just like, "What? I was sitting in
yeah.
the corner," and you're like, "Get up here, right?" So
It's
does it?
always the ones in the corner. That's the thing. It's like you could pick on people that are killing it, but like for example, I could have said, Gary, what's this? He already knows. he knows what the heck to say and do. But the way these new agents and people that are just getting started out get better is by getting challenged. And I remember my first hot seat, I was like shaking. I didn't know what to say, completely flunked it, but I got so much better because
Yeah.
I was like, dang, I never want that to be me again.
It's
So,
funny because no one turns their cameras on anymore because they don't want to be called out because they're a bunch of cowards out there. And I'm going to say that because they don't turn the cameras on and
yeah.
they're not getting better. And the ones that have been in the hot seat, on my team at least, have made sales the next week. And not
Yep.
just one, a few. So, and it's again that lone wolf mentality that, I'm a secret agent. I'm on the call, but I'm not on the call. And, um, I, Factory, are there anyone on? Is
Yeah,
there cameras on or?
there's a
So
couple.
I was just gonna say
Um,
this.
oh,
So
go ahead.
there's a bunch of people on here, and there's like five people, like not
Yeah.
even five people with their cameras on, and it's like, dude, if you went to work like your corporate job with a freaking bag over your head, like it's just weird when people, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
When they
I
don't.
was gonna call out James Holt, but he just replied saying his camera isn't working and he
We'll
needs to
forgive
reboot it.
James
So
today. He definitely needs to reboot it. But I
let's
think
let's
like
do
that's the thing. It's
James.
like,
James
guys, this
Pinto. Let's do James. He's got his camera on. Let's go with James right here. So let me get him fired up on this. So.
I'm here.
Awesome. So I do want to give a shout out to Liz last week. She is a brand new. She was very courageous. She did a wonderful job. So I just want to make sure that, it takes a lot. And she was saying, I'm not used to this camera. And she did it. And that took a lot of courage. So good for you, Liz. I hope you made some sales. And I hope you have a bright future with us. Now, Nina, take it away. I loved how you did it at the lock-in. So it's all you.
Hold on, let me get James on here. One sec.
okay. I was like, where is he?
Yeah, let me get him. He's two, one.
Hot seat's the freaking truth. I see Uncle Jimmy twice.
I know. I don't want to see me twice. There he is.
Hi, James. How are you?
1, 2, 3.
Me?
I'd rather look at Nina than me. So let's get rid of
you.
me.
I'm good. I'm great. I'm fantastic.
Good. How long have you been with FFL?
3 year, going on 3 years.
Nice. Okay.
There were some struggles. I'm showing some huge progress these last couple of months, and um, the sky's my starting point.
I love that. I love that. What's been your biggest month with FFL?
Probably this last month.
What was it? How much?
It wasn't a whole lot, but there was been through some issues with upline. I'm currently trying to get onto another team, and looks like like I said, nothing's going to stop me. Nothing and no one is going to stop me. They can say whatever they want to say. I'm going to move forward.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. Let's say you have a client on the phone and they tell you, you present them the quotes and they say, I want to think about it. What do you say?
Oh, that's great. That's why I gave you some options. You should think about it. We should all think about it. I myself am a consumer as well. But remember, I told you before, I don't make the final decision. So let's go for the lowest one, the lowest option, and get you that approval first. And once we get you the approval, then we can work on the amounts. Fair
That's
enough?
good. That's solid. And I like how you didn't freak out or anything. Like your energy didn't change. You were just perfect. Exactly. Exactly. Like you're agreeing with them, which is awesome.
I freaked out in the beginning, just like you said. I was scared to death of rejection, and I've overcome a lot in the last, especially this year. I've overcome a lot. So
Good work. Good for you. And then one more. Let's do I don't really feel comfortable giving you my social.
I understand that completely. I'm a consumer as well, but the social is how all these carriers identify you. If you've ever applied for any kind of insurance, they're going to ask you, whether it's through me or through my competitor, they're going to ask you. So it's just for the application. Not only that, but I give you my license number. I text you my license number. I'm held to a very high standard, and this is my livelihood. So I take care of it 100%. It's under lock and key. Again, just for the application.
Good
What's
work,
what's
James.
the first three numbers?
Ooh, what's the first three
Nice.
numbers? Assumptive. Let's go.
I like that.
That was good.
ABC, always be closing.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. That was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Heck yeah. Do you want me to do more, Uncle Jimmy, or am I done?
There's one more camera on. We can do one more.
Let's do it if there's another camera on.
Let's do Bob G. Let me get him in here.
Let's go, Bob.
Oh, I have to unmute. Okay.
Hi, Bob. How are
Hey,
you?
good, good.
Dang, that's a cool background.
Oh, thank you. That's where I'm at. So up in the San Francisco area.
That's awesome. How long have you been with FFL?
A little over 2 years.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
What's your best production month?
Not very good. I had like a $2,000 month. I've had some issues. I had some personal family stuff going on. So yeah. But ready to get at it.
Let's
And
go.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's getting uncomfortable. What do you say when someone says, I don't feel comfortable giving you my bank account?
Well, what bank do you bank with? I can pull up your routing number, and because we work with that bank all the time, so I can understand that, and I can, I can work with you with that.
Okay.
The next step.
One of the
Oh.
one of the ways that I always like to ask for bank account it's not really, you're not really going to get that many objections if you ask it the right way. And I think that's where you were going with that, is if you ask for it the correct way, you're not really going to get questions. So when I go into banking, I say, okay, Mary, so the first premium typically comes out within 1 to 3 business days. As long as the first premium comes out, you are active and you are covered if you do get approved. Now, who do you bank with? What bank do you bank with? If they tell me they bank with Navy Federal Credit Union, I'll say, okay, was that Navy Federal Credit Union open in the state of North Carolina? Say they're in North Carolina. Yes, it was. Okay, awesome. Let me go ahead and see if we partner with that bank. I'll go to Google, and routing numbers are public data. So I'll go to Google, I'll put in Navy Federal Credit Union routing number. I'll say, okay, Mary, I have that routing number as 122100024. Can you verify that? And what does she say? Hang on, let me go ahead and grab my checkbook, or hang on, let me grab something to confirm that on. Let me open up my bank app.
I love
Okay,
that.
awesome. And then what's that account number? That, like, if you ask super assumptive like that, it's so freaking easy to get it. And then from there, if Mary tells me, I just don't feel comfortable, I don't want anything coming out of my bank account, I would say, Mary, like I said, we have to see if you're approved first in order for anything to even come out of that bank account. Once you get approved, it'll come out within 1 to 3 business days. Will that $43 be in your account in 1 to 3 business days if you get approved? No, it won't. Then find a day that works better for their schedule, of course. Some people, like, especially dealing with final expense clients, sometimes you have no other choice but to push it out maybe a week. I typically don't go more than a week and a half out. But asking for it that way is huge. So good work. What were you going to say?
What about, I got to ask my wife. I got to ask my husband. I got to ask my kid. Does that comes up all the time? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm big on, I don't like to do one-legged appointments. So if there's also like I have power questions in my script. And one of them is, will anyone else be involved in your decision-making process? And if they tell me no, then it's not a one-legged, it's a solo appointment. And if they tell me yes, then I like to have that person on the phone as well. So we'll either add them in on a 3-way, or I'll schedule an appointment based off then. But if someone tells me, hey, Nina, I really want to talk to my daughter about this, I don't know which one, I would say, okay, based on these 3 options that I showed you, of those 3 amounts, if you were to get approved, Mary, say you were to get approved, which amount would you want to leave for your daughter, Sally? Probably the middle one. Okay. Well, what we're going to do, Mary, is just see if you can even qualify for this coverage. There's really nothing to talk to Sally about if you get declined or don't get approved for this coverage. So what we're going to do is we're going to submit an application for coverage. From there, if you do get approved, you'll have 30 days to decide if you want to increase or change your coverage amount. And then we can go ahead and do that. But at least this will give you something to talk about. So go ahead, give me the legal spelling of your first name. I jumped straight into the application. Super, super assumptive. And also notice that I will never say you'll have 30 days to decide if you want this coverage. Hell no, they always want the coverage. You'll have 30 days to decide if you want to increase or change anything on your policy.
I like how you reworded that.
Because once you say the word cancel in any appointment, you're giving them permission to do so.
Yeah. Do you have another rebuttal, or do you have another question to ask for him?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you do a lot of telesales?
Yeah, mostly I've kind of transitioned to that. I used to do in-house and
Okay.
sales. Yeah.
Let's say you're calling a lead and they say, I never filled that out.
Well, I don't even remember what I had for breakfast. So obviously you filled it out, or someone at your house filled it out. And so what did you have in mind? Who's your beneficiary?
I love that. That's good. I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. One thing I always go back to is just verifying their information. So, oh, Mary, perfect. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday or this morning, but I see here that your address here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I have your beneficiary here as Sally. Is that correct? And then just move on. Confident and control.
Right.
Very nice. Very nice.
That was really good.
Thank you.
All right. Good. Thank you.
Well, cool. Nina, do you have any last words for us before we end this call?
No, I mean, thank you guys for having me. It's definitely an honor to be on here with you guys. Uncle Jimmy, you're absolutely freaking crushing it. So I'm, happy to help you guys and your team no matter what. But I do suggest for like every single person on here, we're going into December, which is historically, I know everyone thinks there's an excuse to, not work during the holiday month, or, I have family coming in town, or this and that. Historically, FFL's biggest month is always December. My personal biggest production months, I wrote 78, or not, that was Hayden. I wrote 70,000 in December. Hayden wrote 78,000. But I wrote 70,000 in December, literally wrapped it up before December 24th. So I encourage you guys to go out there, have a freaking massive month. Everyone's home. Everyone's happy for the holidays. Everyone's thinking about getting protection for their family because they're around their families the whole time. So set some massive goals for December. Track your production, track your activity. And at the end of the day, it all just comes down to putting in the work. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. You rock.
Thank you.
We do have one question for you, Nina, if you don't mind. It's from Ethan. He says, can you go over how to properly set an appointment on your own time and not theirs, and actually increasing the show rate? His struggle is not being assertive enough in setting the appointment and letting them keep rescheduling him. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Ethan, that's actually a great question because I struggled early on with my show ratio, and I got better by adding different things and just like really taking my time at the end of every single presentation to solidify that appointment. So one of the things is QuickBooks aren't real books. So if it's too easy to book on the phones, and if I'm like off the phone in 3 minutes, I don't care if you book 10 appointments in 5 minutes, because those aren't real appointments. Those are probably fake appointments that aren't going to show up. Take your time. That's the biggest thing, is like slow, steady, and controlled the whole time. So at the end of every single appointment, say, I'll say, okay, Mary, now it looks like they have me out in your area if you're in person, or it looks like they have me servicing you either today or tomorrow. Of those two, which one works best? Let's just say they say tomorrow. Okay. It looks like my schedule is super, super packed tomorrow. You always want to make yourself seem super, super busy. So my schedule, they have me running around tomorrow, but it looks like I have either a 5:30 or a 6 p.m. Which one of those works best for you? Okay, a 6 p.m. Okay, awesome. Now, Mary, Quick question before I confirm the details of this appointment. Are you pretty good with keeping the appointments you set in place? And it's okay to ask that, because what are they going to say? Naturally, they're going to say yes. They're not going to want to make themselves seem like they're flaky. Are you pretty good at keeping the appointments you set in place? Yes, I am. Okay, awesome. I respect your time just like you respect mine. And I have a ton of families to service tomorrow. So I just want to make sure that you're on the phone tomorrow at 7 p.m. Go ahead and grab that pen and piece of paper so I can have you write some information down for me. Have them write down your first name, your last name, the appointment time, confirmation code if you even want to add a confirmation code. Have them write all that information down. And then before you get off the phone, add in, okay, Mary, so I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow. At what time was that again? Have them repeat it back to you. Because if they the more they say it, the more they remember the appointment. So, oh yeah, 7 p.m. If you have them write down a confirmation code, have them also read the confirmation code back to you as well. So just really, really taking your time at the end of every single call to solidify.
Lots of diligence there. Well, guys, thank you so much. Nina, again, thank you for all your expertise and your time. I know you're busy. Everybody, we'll see you on the other side. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.